Welcome to the channel. So this is the chapter 2 of Build a REST API with Golang. In this chapter we are going to create a database layer or a data layer instead of using a database. So what we are going to build? We are going to create a person database layer. In this particular layer we are going to save a person type with a name and age, and to save all these things we are going to use the inbuilt map. So what is map? So map in Golang is like it is a secondary database data type. Sorry. So what are secondary data type? These are the types which are formed by the primary data type, like integer or string and other data types. So it is a key value pair. So if you want to store certain like a pair kind of thing, like okay, for one ID number one, this is the person ID two and kind of thing. So it is a key value pair. It is a reference data type. So whenever you are sending map from passing map from function 1 to function 2, um, it will pass by reference, not by value. So if you are change anything in the function 2, then it will reflect in function 1 also. So this is a very important point. Many people ask this particular question uh, in the interviews. They will give you some code snippet and they will ask you like what will be the output. So keep it in mind, map is a reference data type. Then if a key is not present, then it will return zero value. Okay, so let's get started with the code. There is one extension which is very helpful. So what you can do is like open your VS Code and go to this extensions, okay, and search Go. So there you will find this Go extension which is created by Google team, and it has 11 million plus downloads. So just install it, and then it will ask you to install few more additional packages like Go Please and um, other things. So just install those things because in the upcoming videos we are going to heavily use this IntelliSense and code complete. So let's create the type person. So let's type person struct, and it's going to have two variable called name and age. So name is going to be of string type and age is going to be of integer type. So when we are going to send this person as a response to our API in a JSON format, so we have to add some tags. So to add it, we can use this IntelliSense. So you just have to click right and add add tags. So if you can see, it has JSON keyword in it, and so whatever name field we have in this struct, it will convert it into small and JSON field, and it has a one more parameter called omit empty. So what does that mean is like whenever this field is empty, that time it will not return it in the JSON structure. So now we have created the person structure. Now we will need a global variable which will act as our data layer. So let's name it as a data layer, and it will have a map of int as a key and a person as a value. So int will act as a person ID. So whatever person will create, will assign it certain ID, 1 2 3 kind of thing, and the value is going to be person. So now for the person ID, so we'll create another new global variable called person ID, and it is of going to be of int type. So to initialize these things, we are going to use a special function called init. So it is an inbuilt function of Golang. So what it do is like it is similar to constructor of object-oriented programming language. So in any package, if we have a init function in it, so before initializing the main, it will run all the init functions of the complete application. So so before this function main, so when we'll run this go run main.co, so that time it will first run the init function, and then once init function is complete, then only it will initiate the main function. So so to initiate the data layer, our map, we are going to use a keyword called make. So at line number 14 we just declared it, but it didn't got the memory or like the it was not initialized. So to initialize the map, we are going to use a keyword called make, and to initialize the person id, we are going to assign the id as 0, and then we'll just log it as like initialization is complete or data layer is initialized. So after that, what we can do is like we can just scroll down and we can create a data layer. So we are going to create four functions: create person, read person, update person, and delete person. So all these four functions are going to manipulate the data in this data layer. So func create person, and this create person will accept a person of person type, and it will return an int. So what this int, it's going to be the person id. So for this person id, what we can do is like whatever person id we have as our global variable, we are going to increase it by 1. So initially it is 0, so now the person id is the person id is 1. Then in the data layer, we will give the PID as the key, and person whatever we have received as a value. Then we will update the person ID. So if we don't update the person ID, then it will just override the existing values. So person ID will just assign it as the PID. So now it is 1. So after this, we have to return the PID, so that we can in the response we can tell, okay, this person which you have created, its ID is 1 or 2 kind of thing. So once our create person is done, we can create a function called read person. So func read person, and it will accept one integer id, and using this id we will return the person, and we'll also return one error. Suppose if that person is not found or that id is not found, so that time we have to return a error like a person not found. So for this, what we can do is like this we can use we can read the map, and so the first value is person, okay, and the next value we can say is like a okay. So and the data layer and the id. So what this syntax mean is like whenever we'll try to read data layer, so it will return two things. First is the value, and the second object or the second value is like a status, uh, if that key exists or not. Okay, so if you remember, if a id is not there or if a key is not present in a map, that time it return the 0 value. So if you remember, in map, if a key is not present, that time it return the 0 value. So to identify if that value is present or not, instead of relying on the 0 value, what we can do is like we can rely on the second argument called okay. So what it will tell, if the map exists, if that key exists in the map, that time this okay will be true, else it will be false. So we are going to check if okay is there or not, and then we will just simply return the person, and the error part is the nil. So suppose if person is not present, so that time what we can do is like we can just return the empty person object, and with her error, like person is not present. So we'll just return person with empty fields, and we are going to return the error using the fmt.error app, and we are creating a customized error. So person id not found, and then the id. So now our create and read part is done. So now it's time up for the update person. So for this we are going to create a update person, and it will accept two things. One is the id, person id, and another is the person which we are going to update. So and it will return the error. So the things are going to be very simple in it, like the same thing. We'll first check uh, if that id exists or not. So for that we are going to same syntax, data layer. But in this particular case, we don't want to use the first um, like the first field, like the person, because we want to update. So to omit something, what we can do, we can just simply give the underscore, and it will neglect the first value. So then we'll just see if the id exists. That time we'll just override it with like data layer id equals to p, and then we'll just return the nil. And in the same way, if the id is not present, that time we'll just return a customized error as like invalid id. The last function is like delete person. So for this func, delete person, and we'll delete by id. So it will accept one id of integer type, and it will return the error. So the same thing, if id is present, it will delete, and if id is not present, that time it will return the error. So here we are going to use another new keyword called delete. uh, so what this delete function do is like, so delete is a built-in function which deletes the element with a specified key. So the first parameter we have to pass the map, okay, and the second parameter is the key. So here we'll pass and just we'll return the nil. Then if it is an invalid id, that time we'll just return the same error as the update, but instead of update it is delete. So all our data layer is now completed with all the four functions: create, read, update, and delete. So in the next lecture, we are going to create a test cases. In that, we are going to test this data layer. And in the last chapter, we are then going to create the APIs, where we are going to create handlers of create, read, update, and delete. So thank you for watching, and hope you like this lecture. Thank you.